I mean, a couple of things. Obviously, dude, so much has gone on. I never wanted to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Right. Every time that a celebrity gets like one DM that says KYS, they're like, I'm getting death threats. Someone save me, but not a prince. Don't you dare save me.
She's like, I'm getting these death threats, and the cops were like, well, save yourself.
It's her friend screaming.
Wow.
And it's bothered nobody was in there.
There are empty theaters all around the country. We are now at a 1 out of 10 on IMDb for the new Snow White.
Disney's Bob Iger says their mission is to entertain, not send messaging as Snow White sales compete for worst performing live-action Disney adaptation.
But Rachel Zegler made it so hateable that you really sabotaged and took hundreds of millions of dollars from the studio. I don't know how anyone would ever want to go into business with her.
About in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
They've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now, and how they had her tweet out like a little, yay, Snow White, can't wait, so excited, I love to play her. And she did it and got like millions of views, and they were like, good job, Rachel. And then she, like minutes later, followed it up with, and never forget, free Palestine.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Yeah, we had more dwarfs than we did viewers in most of these theaters. And as you know, there were no dwarfs other than some CGI weird generated version of them.
Cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power.
So she just encapsulates everything that most of us cannot stand about modern day feminism and the left in general and Hollywood. The reason we had Rachel Zegler on the docket is she's an asshole. So she came out and took a large dump on half of the country, everyone who voted for Trump. So I attacked her, and then she came out and she said, I apologize. Like I went too far, but it wasn't sincere.
I'm a narcissist. I say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour.
One of the 18 hours I am in this Snow White dress, I expect to get paid. If it's 18 hours, I want 18 hours of pay. I'm sure she got underpaid as a Disney lead actress.
Alex, what has been the reaction to Disney's latest expensive own goal?
Well, the reaction has been absolutely horrible. It is the worst box office from a Disney live action remake that they've ever done in Dumbo.
Zoom in right there, that's it. 163,000 rating, of which it got 1.6, not out of 5. Like, you know, sometimes you go to McDonald's, it's 1.6 out of 5.
Yeah.
1.6 out of 10.
This is really a bad movie, and I apologize to Walt Disney himself. I'm sorry.
Behind the scenes, you guys know as well as I do that those executives like Spielberg are looking at that saying, Rachel Zegler can F right off. And I will look forward to her not getting cast in any more movies for a long time until she actually does learn something about humanity and humility.
I'm really emotional, and I'm also really tired.
What's up, people? Caleb here from Caleb Speaks. Buckle up, because I'm about to break down the most spectacular Hollywood train wreck of 2025. One that's costing Disney a jaw-dropping $270 million. Picture this: Rachel Zegler sitting in a nearly empty theater on Discount Tuesday, awkwardly cheering as her own name appears on screen. This isn't some nightmare. It's her actual reality. The 23-year-old who once boldly claimed fans would wait in line to see her films just witnessed her $270 million Snow White remake play to a room full of vacant seats. According to my industry sources, Disney is doing something unprecedented, considering financial restitution from their leading lady. One executive allegedly shouted in a meeting, "She torched a billion-dollar brand in under a year, and we paid her to do it." Disney might actually try to get money back from their star. Unheard of. On March 25th, Zegler brought a small group of friends, Ilda Mason, Jorge Mason Remy, and Maria Isabel de Mason, to watch Snow White in what looked like a private screening. Ilda's Instagram stories captured the whole cringe fest. As Zegler's name flashed on screen, Ilda's enthusiastic screams echoed through the empty theater while Rachel laughed uncomfortably, clutching a bouquet of sympathy flowers. The group approached a theater employee asking, "2 tickets, please," when he innocently replied, "For which movie?" The camera panned to reveal them holding Snow White-themed popcorn buckets, looking utterly baffled, as if anyone would naturally assume they were there for the movie nobody else was watching. Let's talk numbers. Snow White limped to a dismal $43 million opening weekend after earning just $3.5 million in Thursday previews. For context, Disney's Little Mermaid more than doubled that with a $95 million debut. Even more embarrassing? Dumbo pulled in nearly identical numbers with a fraction of the budget. With Snow White costing north of $250 million before marketing, Disney executives are in full panic mode. My social feeds are flooded with seating charts showing rows of empty seats, photos of lonely audience members, and jokes about starting a GoFundMe to help Disney break even. Some of y'all are savage, and I'm here for it. The irony gets thicker when you watch this viral clip of Zegler comparing herself to the Venus de Milo. The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. I can only hope that at every premiere, people will wait in line to see. Within minutes, the video exploded across social media. TikTokers created merciless parodies with comments like, "Snow White budget, $250 million. Box office, $45 million. But she wants us to line up like we do for broken statues." The hashtag #snowflop trended for days. The only thing lining up was the internet, ready to roast her. This viral meltdown was just the culmination of a controversy years in the making. Long before release, Zegler repeatedly made dismissive remarks about the original 1937 film, its storyline, and its characters. Critics accused her of trashing the very film she was supposed to be celebrating. If you dislike the story so much, why take the role? Make it make sense. According to my sources at Variety, Disney executives were already on edge about Zegler's comments, but chose to remain silent. Their anxiety turned to full-blown panic when she ended her D23 appearance with an unexpected controversial statement. Instantly, their $270 million fairy tale spiraled into a PR nightmare. The situation got so bad that producer Mark Platt personally flew to New York to beg Zegler to tone down her controversial social media presence. This intervention was later confirmed by Platt's own son, Jonah, who didn't mince words in a now-deleted Instagram comment. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, directly blaming Zegler's behavior for hurting the film's prospects. Despite the personal plea from a powerful producer, Zegler reportedly resisted making changes. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for her. It did not. Meanwhile, the on-screen chemistry between Zegler and co-star Gal Gadot wasn't translating to real life. Their Oscars red carpet appearance was painfully awkward. Photos captured Gadot barely acknowledging Zegler, standing stiffly while avoiding eye contact. Body language experts and gossip blogs immediately picked up what Disney PR had desperately tried to downplay. These two women were not on good terms. After this joint appearance, Zegler described Gadot as a professional pageant queen in an Instagram reply. The two actresses reportedly had fundamental differences of opinion, creating an uncomfortable working relationship that deteriorated to the point where Disney had to step in. She didn't understand the repercussions of her actions, for the film, for Gal, for anyone, an insider revealed to me. Disney eventually hired a social media expert to approve all of Zegler's posts leading up to release. Sources claim Disney's PR team even ghost wrote portions of her apology, which came across as calculated corporate spin. We've all seen those insincere apologies before, right? Just before Snow White's release, Zegler posted an Instagram tribute praising the greatest crew in the world. Conspicuously absent, any mention of Gal Gadot. No photos, no acknowledgement, nothing. The internet noticed immediately, interpreting this as yet another snub in their ongoing feud. The production itself seemed cursed from the start. The budget spiraled from $170 million to between $250 to $270 million after endless delays, reshoots, and setbacks. Hollywood strikes halted production, a COVID outbreak stalled momentum, and at one point a literal fire erupted on location. You can't make this stuff up. The controversy around replacing the 7 dwarfs with CGI creations sparked another outrage cycle. Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage blasted the production, finding it contradictory that Disney was celebrating diverse casting while still featuring 7 dwarfs. Disney quickly responded they were taking a different approach by replacing the dwarfs with CGI characters, triggering yet another wave of backlash. Wee Man pointed out that Disney was replacing jobs that people could have as little people. With all this baggage, Disney made an unusual decision for the premiere. They scrapped the typical red carpet fanfare. The studio opted for a low-key daytime pre-party followed by an understated screening. Even the European premiere was tucked away in a northern Spain castle rather than London's Leicester Square. For a $270 million tentpole film, this subdued approach screamed of waning confidence. Perhaps most telling was Hollywood's deafening silence. No supportive tweets from co-stars, no directors defending her artistic choices, no heartfelt posts from fellow actresses. Zegler stood alone in the spotlight, and that absence of allies spoke volumes. My sources say Zegler's future projects are being reconsidered. One studio insider revealed that conversations about potential roles have cooled significantly. Marketing teams are reevaluating whether she could still anchor a campaign. Producers now view her as radioactive, worried that casting her would ignite backlash before cameras even start rolling. Some sources suggest Disney is quietly exploring options to end their relationship with the actress, while others claim deals have already been scrapped behind closed doors. Zegler, once positioned as the fresh face of Gen Z stardom after her breakout in Spielberg's West Side Story, had become a cautionary tale. Her rise had been meteoric. Critical acclaim, Golden Globe win, Spielberg's personal praise. But with Snow White, that momentum evaporated overnight. My industry contacts tell me Zegler's team is in crisis mode. Publicists, agents, and managers are scrambling to reframe the narrative, pitching her for redemption-style profiles and carefully controlled press appearances. But the damage might already be irreversible. Once Hollywood decides you're bad news, it's nearly impossible to change that perception. As the dust settles on Disney's Snow White disaster, the real question is how a studio with unlimited resources got it so catastrophically wrong. A controversial lead actress at war with her co-star and source material. A modernized story that abandoned beloved elements of the original. Production issues that ballooned the budget to staggering heights. And a marketing campaign hamstrung by one PR crisis after another. The Snow White disaster represents more than just a box office flop. It's a seismic shift in how studios approach their treasured IP. By alienating core fans through dismissive comments about beloved classics, Disney learned a $270 million lesson about respecting legacy. Zegler now finds herself at the center of a corporate firestorm, fighting to salvage what's left of a once promising career. Rachel Zegler might have played Snow White, but there's no magic mirror or poisoned apple that can spin this box office poisoning into anything but what it is. A fairy tale gone horribly wrong, and unlike the original, there's no Prince Charming coming to save this one. This fairy tale disaster has me wondering, are we witnessing the fastest rise and fall of a Hollywood career in modern history? Drop your take in the comments. Never thought I'd see Disney scrambling to recover from a Snow White catastrophe, but here we are. Smash that subscribe button if you want the real Hollywood stories that nobody else is telling. Caleb signing out.